Welcome back everyone to the plenary session, and I hope your breakout discussions were as robust as the two that I participated in. And I'd like to start by just sharing, a few of the comments that came out of our group, and they're really similar in themes to much of what Esther had to say this morning. I'll start though by saying, even though we discussed the breakout questions and issues in terms of short-term 5 years and long-term 10 years, there was a pretty much consensus of our group that some of these might take 10 years, but that's too long, and even 5 years. So there's an urgency to address a number of the issues in a much more timely manner. But in terms of a few of the key themes, the importance of community engagement continued to be at the very top. And I think, as we've heard from several of the speakers, that needs to be earlier rather than later. I think this morning we heard that for the COVID study, sometimes that was thought about a little bit later than it should have, because there are a number of advantages to doing that. And the development of community networks of investigators is key, and we need to think about how to do that, but also how to appropriately invest and to embed it into clinical care. So the linkage of clinical care with research. And I think one of the goals I would like to see beforehand, but certainly by 2030, is that research is linked to and is a routine part of clinical care. One of what we thought could be low-hanging fruit is, of course, the consent form in terms of technology. So that is something that it would seem should lend itself to becoming more virtual, more interactive, more patient-friendly, and that's something that could be routinely done. Another comment, there was interest in the importance of certainly collecting the social determinants of health. And I think after Silas's presentation, a number of us started to think about, who the community partners are that are already doing many of the things. But if we're going to collect that information, as important as it is, it should not add additional burden to the patient experience. So it needs to be done in a way that is not more burdensome. And we also need to align more with the partners who are already doing those things. Focusing on the positive rather than the negative was key. And then one of the questions that we're finishing up with is, so what are the problems, particularly that we can solve with technology? And I think our group felt that technologies could be helpful in addressing it and overcoming most of the barriers that we face. The question is just how to do that. And the fact that there might be a digital divide and some barriers there in terms of access to technology and literacy around technology, that should not stop us from doing it. But certainly technology that provides more mobile, digital, virtual access could help with awareness, could help with providing reliable, high quality, credible information that would not only increase awareness and potential access to clinical trials, but also trust in those if we're using trusted voices. The mobile technologies could also help in providing access to those who are more remote, those who are maybe in more rural areas or who find it more difficult certainly to get to the site, and that would certainly help in terms of patient-centered and patient-friendliness. So broadly, the technologies and the mobile technologies and the availability of apps are really an opportunity to help us overcome many of the existing barriers, and these can become sustained. And the question is, really just how do you do that? And it was pointed out by one of our participants that, cell phones are available everywhere, even in the most remote parts of the globe. So there's the technology and the opportunity, but how do we use it to advance the work that we're doing here? So well, why don't I pause there? And I'm sure I haven't done our group justice, and see if there's any comments that others might like to add before I turn it back over to Esther. And Stephen. Anyone else in my group like to comment? Well, okay, well, thank you. It was, as I said, robust discussion, a lot of ideas, a lot of potential, but also some challenges moving forward.